Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor and a privilege to stand before you and introduce someone who I think is such a great leader for our district. I have so many things I want to say, but I will keep it brief, I promise. I remember when Dr. Taylor first came to Grand Rapids. I had my students from Ottawa Hills High School singing around the district. We go from school to perform. Every school I was at, he was there. And he was talking to kids and introducing himself and asking them questions and meeting them and actually remembering their names so that when he saw them again the next time, he would speak to them again. And I was just so amazed with that he took the time to get to know the kids. Because I think when you are a leader, you have to care about what the bottom line is, which is the kids. And that's what I think our leader has done. He has taken the time to get to know the kids, gone from school to school, to meet the kids, to see what the needs are, and then create a plan to meet those needs, even in these challenging economic times. It's a very difficult task. I would not want your job to try to plan for success on a limited budget. But I admire what you're doing, and we stand behind you. So at this time, I did want to say one more thing. I like the way you planned the work. And now he's going to talk about how we can work the plan. Please welcome to the podium Dr. Bernard Taylor, Jr.
Good morning. It is a pleasure and an honor for me to be here. And I would like to ask if there's anybody sitting at the top, there are plenty of seats at the tables. If that would make you more comfortable, to please move forward and be as comfortable as you possibly can. I certainly want to thank you all for being here and for being in support of the Grand Rapids Public Schools. The state of our schools address is not the highlight of today. It's just celebrating what we do every day on behalf of the young people who have performed so admirably today, the young lady who led us in the Pledge of Allegiance, the numerous students who helped support in the setup of this. So again, the state of our schools really talks about the state of our children and the state of the students in our district, and that's why I'm so happy and pleased to be here this morning. Before I get started, though, I want to ask you not to forget a very, very important date that concerns a very important event that will be taking place in the very near future. On Tuesday, April 28, 2009, at DeVos Place Steelcase Ballroom, we will have the annual Grand Rapids Student Advancement Foundation's Mindshare event. Tickets are $100 for an evening of inspiration. And the proceeds from this dinner will go to support the youth of the Grand Rapids Public Schools. Also available in the lobby at the Student Advancement Foundation table is the new Standing Together CD, produced by Phil Biggs and Michael Crittenden and a host of other musicians, and again with a portion of the proceeds going to the Student Advancement Foundation. I also want to thank Mayor Hartwell and Susan Hartwell, who is the Executive Director of the Student Advancement Foundation, our Board President Kathy Muller, Reverend Dennis McMurray, Commissioner Walt Katowski, Vanessa Allen, and Brian Cloyd for being here this morning, for their support and their participation. I certainly would be remiss if I did not give particular thanks and praise to Mr. DeYoung, Mr. Morgan, and the cast of Annie, who performed. I was really concerned about the young lady who did the somersault onto the bed, and then the young lady who was jumping on the bed. So I'm glad that worked out well. Ladies, you sang well. We're all looking forward to your production, and I'm sure if you invite us out, we're going to come and support you. So they did an outstanding job. And again, I think that all the young people who participated today are nothing short of extraordinary, and I think they all deserve a round of applause. As I said before, these children, these remarkable, extraordinary children, whether they're in our preschools, our elementary schools, our K-8s, our high schools, wherever they are, wherever I encounter them, I am always in sheer awe and amazement of just how wonderful these children are. If you don't know, if you're here and you're engaged in this work, and you are not touched and impacted in such a positive way by these young people, then I think it's time to invest your heart in some type of rehabilitation. Because these are some of the most genuine, some of the most kind, some of the smartest, some of the hardest working young people I've ever been fortunate enough to be around. And it's because of their specialness, because of their uniqueness. It's because of our belief that we must provide avenues for them to grow and for them to succeed. Because if they do that, all those facets are going to help make this community an even better one than it is. We all know that these are challenging economic times. We know that. Unemployment is above 10%. People are out of jobs. People are losing jobs. Homes are being lost to foreclosure. Individual retirement savings have been lost due to the market crash. Plants are closing. Public and private job providers across the state are making cuts, and even more are likely in the future. Families are struggling to make ends meet. I think it's safe to say we're all tired, and we're all a bit worried. And given our economic challenges, it would be very easy to lose sight of what truly is and always should be most important to everyone here and our society as a whole, and that's our children and their future. Just when it seems that your chips are down, and I know this is true for me, and just when you think, well, I'm not sure whether we can persevere through this, or there's not enough money, or there are too many issues, people are added, just when you think about it, all you have to do is look at a child's face, listen to the happiness and innocence that they express every day. I have the privilege, my office overlooks the playground area for Campus Elementary School. And if ever there's a moment in my day where I'm not sure about what I should be doing, all I have to do is look out the window and listen to those voices, hear and see happiness, and that's the rejuvenating thing that makes me know everything will be all right. It's about their hope, their future, their innocence, their optimism, their unbridled and unvarnished joy and perspective of life that says, we must, we shall, we can make a brighter future for these young people. We can't lose sight of that. We cannot lose sight of it. We have to use their momentum, their sense of optimism, their sense of joy, their sense of what a bright future can be. So that as these tough times challenge us, as we get knocked down, as we look at how we're going to make it from day to day, we have to get up, we have to stay up, and we have to just say, we are going to move forward. So my goal for today is to reinforce that we should have optimism in the future. We have nothing to fear, as Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, but fear itself. We have to figure out how we're going to chart our plan and direction. We're going to look at how we align what we're doing here in the Grand Rapids Public Schools with the broader community. And we're going to have a common vision, common goals, and all of these things together are going to support our community's children. I have said this many, many times before, and I'm going to keep saying it. The future growth and success of the Grand Rapids Public Schools is not just an education issue. It is not just a city issue. It is a regional issue that every individual, every family, every institution, every job provider, and every taxpayer in West Michigan has a stake in. It is about economic development, workforce development, and improving the quality of life in each of our city's neighborhoods. It's about global competitiveness and our ability as a region to retain and attract families and job providers. Most importantly, it's about the future and what is best for our community's children. I am proud to say that GRPS is on the right track and we are headed in the right direction. We have many issues and challenges that lie ahead. And yes, like many other school districts, we are going to have to make more cuts and maybe even close more schools. Yes, some jobs and the responsibilities attached to those jobs may look different in the future, or they may not be here at all. This is not what I think any of us want to hear, but this is just the reality of our situation, both financially and academically. I will say, however, that because of the difficult but necessary decisions that various boards of education have made over the last 8 years, GRPS is well positioned to weather these tough times. Some of our neighboring school districts are just now starting to feel the economic and enrollment strains and are looking at school closings, at cuts and consolidations. But you know what? We've been there. We've done that. We're doing that. In fact, we've been there and done that for 8+ years. And you know what? That's why we're stronger, more efficient, more flexible, more capable, and well positioned to move forward at this time. In fact, that's why the Detroit News editorialized, now think about this, that the Detroit public schools should follow our lead. So large Detroit should follow little Grand Rapids to figure out what it is that they can do to better serve their children. The Detroit News editorial board recognized that the decisions that had to be made were made. They were not delayed. And that they realized that we're seeking innovation, partnership, and change. GRPS is a dynamic organization that has endured through difficult times amidst ever-changing political, financial, and educational challenges, but yet and still we meet the diverse and growing needs of every child that comes through our doors, regardless of their age, their income, their ability, or socioeconomic status. How they come is how we receive them, and what we try to do is make them a little bit better because they have been with us. Now, there are few, if any, schools or school districts in this region that can truly and honestly say that they have the staff, the schools, the programs, and the systems in place to support the needs of every child. Not just some, every child. Now, you know we serve the largest, most diverse student population in the region. We're the third largest in the state. We have more than 19,000 students with more than 49 different languages spoken and 70 countries represented. We are the United Nations. 80% of our children are eligible for free and reduced lunch. 25% qualify for special education services, and 20% are English language learners. But don't think for 1 minute that just because those things describe our children, that makes them incapable or unable to learn. Believe me. Just because someone is poor, just because the language spoken at home may not be English, or just because someone's challenges may make it such that they need a little more time, every child that walks through our doors can be successful. So those are not excuses. Those things just define who we serve. We have more than 4,000 employees. We are the second largest employer in the city. 1,700 of that 4,000 are among the best and most dedicated teachers in the state. I have seen poetry in classrooms. I have watched teachers like Vanessa Allen. I had the awesome privilege of being in Miss Gillespie's 5th grade class at Mulick Park Elementary School this past week. I had the chance to go through and just listen outside the door, watching children engaged in learning with their teachers. And sometimes it takes your breath away at what you see. It was sheer poetry. Eager, happy children, thoroughly engaged. A teacher who was nurturing and encouraging and saying, you can do it. And I believe that you know this. And you're going to show everybody that you can. And you see that in so many classrooms, in each of these schools, every single day. We see artistry. We see beauty. We see poetry. We see caring adults affirming and nurturing wonderful children. That's what our teachers, that's what our employees do, not just our teachers. I don't care who it is, from the school secretary to our security staff, to our custodial staff, to our food service workers. I have seen people be nothing but genuine and caring about their interactions with children. So we do have some of the best, most dedicated employees anywhere. We offer the largest selection of school choices with more than 60 different schools. Our budget is nearly $220 million. Now think about this. We are larger than many townships and cities in the region. And because of this, we, again, can proudly say we are ready, willing, and more than able to serve every child, no matter what dynamic may be part of his or her life. The Grand Rapids Magazine had a great article in its October 2000 edition titled, "Bigger May Just Be Better." Well, you know what? They are absolutely right. Now, I'm going to go with the line that was originally there. They are darn right. Bigger is, in fact, better, and that's true in the case of GRPS. I think it is particularly important to point out this fact because oftentimes statistics, the numbers that describe us, don't really put into perspective how truly awesome the district is, how truly awesome the amount of work that is done by so many people, given all the dynamics and all the X factors that our teachers, our principals, our schools, our administrators are faced with. There is truly no one-size-fits-all approach to education. And there is definitely no one-size-fits-all test that reflects our students' academic growth and achievement or the quality of our schools' instructors or instructional practices. And that's why I take great offense when I hear someone refer to the Grand Rapids Public Schools as a failing school district. Now, I know our test scores are not where I want them to be, but they are not certainly earmarks of a failing school district. Some schools may have a lower education yes grade, but I'd submit that doesn't tell the story of what goes on day in and day out, where issues that come to the school's door that maybe somebody else should have dealt with are dealt with grace, with professionalism, and with extreme care and concern. A few of our schools, and let me underline the word few, a few of our schools may not be meeting AYP. That may all be true, but no one can say we are a failing school district because you have to dig deep. Don't always believe what you read. Don't always believe what you hear. Because if you dig deep, do some homework, and look past some of the arbitrary one-size-fits-all tests, grades, or AYP labels, the Grand Rapids Public Schools is making more academic progress than most, if not all, other school districts in our region. Tony Campbell is here today, and his work with the United Way in support of the Grand Rapids Public Schools is outstanding. And one statistic that the United Way has used as the basis for its work with the district is that it recognizes that only 17% of students who start kindergarten in GRPS are reading at the kindergarten level. Now, obviously, if we do the math, it means that 83% of our students are not even at the starting gate when they walk through the door. And most people would say, well, my goodness, they're already behind. How do you catch up someone who is already behind? And if you went to anywhere else, people might say, well, we don't know what to do. But by the fourth grade, by the 4th grade. 70% of those same students are reading at grade level. So ask yourself now, who is making more academic progress? Our academic progress line is virtually straight up, and that is because we have strong, capable, and dedicated teachers, principals, and staff who go above and beyond the call of duty to meet every child's need. And again, every child. We are meeting the needs of the neediest children, and we do it very well. No test score or label will ever capture this, and that is very, very true. So before anyone judges this district or wrongfully labels us, they better do their homework. They better take the time to get to know the real numbers, the real faces, the real problems, and the real solutions that define our real situation. Because every time I paint this picture and share the real story and the real numbers, people are speechless. They're saying, how do you do this? You know what? I used to people always tell me, you have a really hard job. I would never want your job. It's too difficult, this, that, and the other. And there's a part of me that laughs inside because I said, you know what? You just don't know. Yeah, it's challenging, but guess what? We're tough. We can handle it. We're handling it, and we are overcoming. We are making progress, and we know how much we have done, but we also know what we can do for our community's children. So that's why I always, always, always marvel at the greatness of our staff and the work they do. And I would be really remiss if I didn't acknowledge the work of the people who work closest to me, those who comprise my cabinet, because I don't care. These people work Monday through Sunday. They are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They come to work sick. They have sacrificed vacations and family time because they care so much about this district. When people talk about what people are compensated, one thing I hope people realize is you are getting an extreme bargain when you have the talent, the extreme talent of people like Lisa Freiberger, Carolyn Evans, Frederica Williams, Teresa Neal, Larry Johnson, John Helmholtz, Mary Jo Coleman, Dr. Maida Gunnell, Jane DeGroot, Kurt Johnson. Those individuals do everything. But they join the list with our teachers, our principals, our counselors, paraprofessionals, support specialists, classroom aides, librarians, media specialists, nurses, health aides, social workers, clinical staff, especially our secretaries, maintenance, our custodial and grounds crews, our nutrition service providers, our public safety officers. Every single employee, each and every one of them, plays a critical role in this grand production we call public education and the grander production we call the Grand Rapids Public Schools. They are truly, we need to do that. All of these individuals, every single one of them in every school, every building, are truly the unsung heroes of this community, and who, by the way, also are doing a lot more with a lot less. So what does that mean, doing more with less? Before I get into all the great things that are happening in our plans for the future, we need to reflect on our past. We need to talk about all the right-sizing efforts that have happened in this school district over the past few years. Over the last 8 years, we have cut $60 million out of our operating budget. However, in doing so, we still have not sacrificed the important programs and services that our children and our families need. We have closed or consolidated 20 schools and programs. We have cut administrative and other staff positions. We have cut other operating costs in many ways. And a lot of this is due to declines in our enrollment. We've lost 6,000 students since 2001. And state funding is not keeping pace with our rising expenses. The district has continuously been dipping into our rainy day fund to cover the difference each year, and at the rate we are going, we will have less than 3% fund balance remaining. And that's about 6 days of operation. On top of that, we are either looking at a cut or flat state funding over the next year or two. Now, there is good news, some good news, and that has to do with the stimulus package that was signed by President Obama this past week. And based on what we now know, GRPS will be receiving additional Title I and IDA funds over the next 2 years. But let's be real careful about how those dollars must be used, because they will have to be used to support short-term, project-specific initiatives. They cannot and will not be used for ongoing, recurring expenses. Additionally, states will receive budget stabilization funding, and we know that that funding must be used to keep K-12 and university funding whole for the next 2 years. This means that the $59 per pupil cut recently proposed by Governor Granholm likely will not occur. While this certainly helps, the reality is our expenses are still rising, so no new per pupil dollars is the equivalent of a cut. The Citizens Research Council estimates that the average per pupil cost for retirement, health insurance, wage and step increases, and operating expenses will increase by $550 per student. So if we do nothing and the state does not increase per pupil funding, we are looking at a shortfall of more than $10 million. As such, we are going to be going out to the community, and we're going to be seeking input from every stakeholder about how we should address what our budget issues are. The board has recently approved budget parameters that the administration will use in formulating the 2009-2010 operating budget. But we want to make sure that we gather community input, and by using the parameters, we hope that these things will help guide the district with a goal of trying to minimize the impact of potential cuts to the fullest extent possible. So yes, these are challenging economic times. They may make us feel fearful or less optimistic than we should. But all that now has to be balanced by the fact that we have extraordinary accomplishments that have been made by our employees, our students, and that should give us reason to be optimistic about what the near future may hold. We are making remarkable strides and continue to build upon a solid foundation of support systems that are designed to improve student learning and achievement. The key parts of our foundation obviously are going to be to increase the level of student achievement, to ensure that high-quality instruction is offered to every student in every building every day, and that each school is led capably by a quality instructional leader, not someone who manages the day-to-day operations of the building, but someone who leads the instructional growth and development of students and staff in each building. We want to see a rich, broad array of extracurricular activities, much like we saw demonstrated by the young ladies who were in the cast of Annie here. We want to make sure that the programs that we offer to our students support and promote safety and health and wellness for our students and their families. We're going to be paying attention to school infrastructure and a better, more efficient use of technology, not only as we deliver instructional services, but how we conduct the business of the district. And most importantly, we want to stay engaged thoroughly, comprehensively, and effectively with parents and our community partners, because each of those entities is integral to our success. All of these things together are interconnected. And as we continue to make improvements and changes and reforms, we're going to stay focused on two goals. One, to increase academic achievement and press more students to graduate from high school. So our mission and charge is very clear. Let's make sure everybody learns and learns at a high level. And if we do that, more students will graduate from high school. Now, how are we doing this? How have we been supported thus far? In 2007, thanks to the generous support of the Doug and Maria DeVos Family Foundation and a partnership with the University of Pittsburgh's Institute for Learning, we began implementing a cutting-edge new effort-based learning model that is driving systemic change in the district. Now, the premise of effort-based education is that effort creates intelligence. that intelligence is not fixed, it's not predetermined by genetics, that it can be grown, it can be nurtured, and that every child, through his or her own hard work and through quality instruction, can achieve to the highest levels. So this is a significant change in the way that we think about student learning, because this is about our core value as a school district. We either believe that all children can learn at high levels and through hard work and persistence they can achieve, or we believe that we can only educate some children because they're genetically predisposed to being academically successful. And then we have to figure out what to do with the ones who aren't genetically predisposed to be smart. Everybody can be smart. As our president is saying, it is cool to be smart. And that's going to be a message that we carry from school to school too. It's cool to be smart, it's cool to be prepared, it's cool to be in school, and it's cool to be in the Grand Rapids public schools in particular. But this notion of effort-based education is also about raising our own expectations, not just for students, but for ourselves as professionals. We have got to push the envelope more about making sure that as teachers, as administrators, as the adults providing a service, that we are constantly asking ourselves, what do I need to do to get better at my craft? What do I need to learn how to do better? What do I need to do to better understand what my students deal with day in and day out and how that affects my work? We need to be mindful of the fact that we serve people, not that people should be privileged that we serve them. We are the service provider. We have clients. We need to meet their needs. And their needs drive what we have to do. So that's why we need to make sure that we examine our own value system about what we believe about instruction, what we believe about our own abilities. We need to ask ourselves, does our own effort lead to quality results for our students? And if the answer is no, then we need to be asking ourselves, what must we do? Or better yet, what must I do so that I can offer the most optimum level of service that I possibly can? Or better yet, do I offer the type of service that if my own child were sitting in front of me, my own child would say, job well done. With our work with the Institute for Learning, we are seeing results. Our program has been evaluated and has been deemed to be on track. We are broadening the level of participation of those who are closest to the work, our teachers, and I want to celebrate and publicly acknowledge the core of 80 teachers who are part of Cohort A, who have gone through IFL training, who are going through IFL training, and who in the future will serve as resources for their colleagues in their buildings. We're looking to train another cohort, and we hope that we'll be able to offer a number of training opportunities throughout the course of the year where we bring people in, compensate them for their time, but then ask them to go out and be ambassadors, be apostles, be supporters, but be support for colleagues as we attempt to embed the work associated with the Institute for Learning deeper in each of our classrooms and each of our schools. This work is significant, and we are making progress with it. And if we continue with the quality implementation that we've experienced thus far, we are going to make sure that its reach is far and deep and long-lasting. And I think ultimately that's a goal that we have to strive for. Now, we are making academic gains, and academic achievement remains strong and is getting better at the elementary, K through 8, and middle school levels. And that, the individuals who are working at that level, I salute you and take my hat off to you, because consistently, year in and year out, we see strong gains being made across each content area, and I know that's because of your hard work. For 3 consecutive years, the district has increased the number of schools meeting the federal adequate yearly progress standard, jumping from 26 to 35 schools meeting AYP, a 25% improvement. Over that same time period, a majority of GRPS schools saw an improvement in their education yes grade. I know Mr. Bradshaw from Campus Elementary School is here, and I remember him telling me that when he told the parents that their ed yes grade had improved, because I think they were a D school and went from a D to a C, and this past year they became a B school. So in 2 years, they have completely turned their situation around. I remember him saying how proud the parents were, that they were doing like a little ed yes dance or something like that. The number of schools receiving a B grade, such as Campus, or better, increased from 7 to 20, a 65% improvement. The most recent MEP scores, and we're talking about from last year because we are still in the process of getting official clearance to release MEP scores from this year. Our MEP scores, the most recent runs we have, revealed that math scores increased for 3 consecutive years across the board in every grade, with an average 13% improvement. And many people say it's harder to raise math scores than it is to raise reading scores. So that alone is a significant achievement. So, and hats off to Malika Brown and for all those who have been really leading the effort around mathematics instructional improvement in the district. We also saw test scores on English language arts and science increase at every grade level tested as well. City Middle High School still ranks as one of the top schools, not just in the region, but in the entire state and the nation. And Mr. Hovenkamp and Ms. Jimenez are here, and their former principal, Jane DeGrooter, are here, and they all need to be applauded for what they've done there. For the second consecutive year, City Middle High School was named among the top 300 schools in America by U.S. News and World Report, along with Grand Rapids Montessori, another GRPS school. City Middle High is also set to become the first school, or one of the first schools in our region, to offer the coveted International Baccalaureate Middle Years program, something that is offered only by a handful of schools in the region. This is in addition to the cutting-edge new curriculum that has been created under the auspices of the Center for Economicology, and an initiative that has been funded by the Wege Foundation. It just so happens that the few schools that rank highest in the state that are just a little bit above City in terms of performance are IB schools. So they better watch out, because City High is gunning for that top spot. Also among the great success stories this year, we have to talk about Burton Middle and Sibley Elementary Schools. For more than 5 years, these two schools had failed to meet federal AYP standards. But that came to an end this school year when we received the results early on that both Sibley and Burton Middle made AYP. This is a remarkable achievement, and it is a testament to the extraordinary level of hard work on the part of the teachers, on the part of the entire staff, and especially the school's leadership. It's because of the work that has gone on there that this is one of the reasons why I am going to plan in the next coming weeks to introduce as a concept developing a new performance-based compensation system for administrators. Principals like Sibley's Marianne Preshashenko and Burton's Robert Evans, both whose leadership helped put their schools on the right track, should be rewarded for their accomplishments. At the same time, administrators who are unable or unwilling to support the district's goals and to move the work of their schools forward, and if they're given a period of time to correct that, they need to be put on notice that mediocrity is not going to be rewarded. Now, let me say this, because I know people get all bugged out when you talk about merit pay or performance-based pay. The reason why I'm going to this is because we have an exceptional number of principals who have done extraordinary work. I said this in the principals meeting the other day. We don't have a lot of reclamation projects. So I don't have a lot of principalships. You know, they're supposed to be the so-called tough principalships. We don't have too many of those. What we have now are successful schools, so what I'm looking to be able to reward are people who are taking something successful and they're going to make it even more successful. So to the administrators here, you don't have anything to worry about because you're going to be involved in the development of this. But what you're going to be involved in is saying, I have a good product, I'm going to make it even better, and I'm going to be able to stand up and tell everybody in this community what I did, how it worked, how it will continue to work, and the results that I got. Now, community, what I'm telling you is, you have talent here, so get ready to reward it. Because if you have talent, you want to cultivate it, and you want to keep it. Because one thing I know about talent, people come looking for it. The mediocre, they let stay, but they come looking for talent, and we have a lot of talent here in our administrative corps. So I want everybody now to take a deep breath, relax, don't panic, because I know that one I know every administrator here took notes on that one, so calm down, we're going to be all right. We are expanding school choices. Also this year, a school that was once proposed as a charter school opened as one of our schools thanks to a cutting-edge new public-private partnership and the Centers of Innovation process. And I want to take this time to publicly thank Brian Cloyd and the University Prep Academy Board for working together with us. I also want to thank the members of the Centers of Innovation team who helped steer us through these uncharted waters. I know that many of them have probably said, why did I agree to be part of this committee? But those individuals include Jenny Vanderhart, Dr. Patricia Olt, Milt Rohrer, Twink Fry, Susan Broman, Dr. Edwin Hernandez, and Ben Emden. And these individuals, led very capably by Mary Jo Kuhlman, again, have made this process, I think, one that will be emulated throughout the state. Now the University Prep Academy is ready to add another grade next year to the grades that it serves, and it will eventually grow to serve students in grades 6 through 12. We are also getting ready to open a series of new high school centers of innovation, each custom designed with the support, resources, and expertise of some of the top employers, foundations, and institutions in the region. The School of Health Science and Technology is set to become West Michigan's premier high school designed to prepare students for college and a career in the booming healthcare industry. It is located adjacent to the Medical Mile and partnered with the region's top medical institutions, including Spectrum Health, Michigan State University's College of Human Medicine, Grand Valley State University's School of Health Science, Grand Rapids Community College, and many, many other partners. I want to give special thanks to Matt Van Vranken, president of Spectrum Health, and his organization for donating $450,000 over 3 years, plus a full-time staff person to help develop this innovative school. The Academy for Design and Construction at Union High School. Go Red Hawks. Thanks to a new public-private partnership with the region's leading architecture and construction firms, including Chrisman, Rockford Construction, and Progressive A&E, GRPS is launching what I believe will become the region's premier secondary school, preparing students for careers in architecture, design, construction, and more. I want to thank Dan Lamore of Chrisman, Mike Perry of Progressive A&E, and Mike Van Gessel of Rockford Construction, along with Michigan State University and Ferris State University, for their support and commitment to making the Academy a reality. They really do deserve a round of applause because they have worked very diligently around this. Ottawa Hills High School is looking to reinvent its School of Business Leadership and Entrepreneurship. This small school, which will again be reinvented, will allow students the opportunity to gain hands-on, real-world experience with some of the region's top CEOs and job providers. And again, this is one that's under development, but I know in the capable hands of Rodney Lewis, this will come to fruition in the very near future. And clearly, one of our most successful and certainly long-running programs, our GRPS Engineering and Biomedical School at Creston High School. After years of successfully serving students in grades 10 through 12, this region's premier engineering and biomedical high school is expanding to include 9th grade. Now, GRPS, which has been in existence for over 10 years, has a 99% graduation rate. By anyone's definition, it is very, very successful. But now it's only getting bigger. It's definitely going to get better, and it's gaining more partners. It gives me great pleasure to announce today the creation of the new University Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics Consortium, also known as the STEM Consortium. Now, administrators from Ferris State University, Grand Valley State University, Kettering University, Michigan State University, Michigan Technological University, the Van Andel Institute, as well as GRPS's host university, Davenport University, have met recently and pledged a minimum of 3 years of support to help grow what will be part of this new consortium. The administrators have made a commitment of faculty and of staff time to help plan curriculum and to provide direct assistance with developing hands-on projects focusing on engineering and biomedical fields. They are also committing financial support, some in the form of collaboration on grants, some to provide supplies or equipment, and some with funds to pay for academic clubs and summer camps for students in the GRPS program. Now, all of these new centers of innovation will play a key role in helping to transform our secondary schools and to help us achieve the goals that I outlined earlier to increase student achievement and high school graduation rates in the long run. But these choices are being driven and we're being assisted by those who are closest to what the industry needs. So students will have rigorous academic preparation that will allow them to either be college ready or workforce ready. In either event, our students will be ready, and we are grateful to all of these community partners, all of these higher education institutions, and we're grateful to all the individuals associated with them for lending their time, their talent, their expertise, and their commitment to help us move this project forward. So thank you all very much. Thanks to the use of online or computer-based courses through our NovaNet system, nearly 200 students who were struggling academically and on the verge of dropping out, those students graduated on time. We have seen good results in our use of technology. We have seen students who have struggled in a traditional classroom setting excel in a NovaNet lab with the help and support of teachers and other support staff. As a district, we must continue to expand the use of technology as a way to provide additional educational choices that support improved student learning. We have to continue to press our State Department of Education to give us flexibility, to offer waivers so that we look at how we can provide more online opportunities for students as a way to help them achieve the content standards associated with the various curricula that they experience, but to do it in a way that is best suited to meet their educational needs as they find them. But let's be clear, no amount of technology, no matter how high quality it is, can take the place of the human interaction that is, as I said earlier, poetry between teacher and student. Our students may want to take a course or two in a way that is non-traditional. But I would dare say that because of the quality of teachers that we do have, the vast majority of our students still want to have the opportunity to bring an apple, if they so choose to somebody they call his or her teacher. So again, while we're going to press on in our use of technology, nothing will take the place of a quality experience between teacher and student. We are expanding early childhood opportunities. What happens before students come to school is also of importance. We offer the largest selection of all-day kindergarten in the region. I know Governor Granholm has called for the creation of all-day kindergarten throughout the state, but here in Grand Rapids, we're ahead of the curve. We also have a large selection of half-day preschool opportunities, but now, thanks to a $4.5 million federal grant, we are working in partnership. Thank you. We are working in partnership with Grand Rapids Community College to establish 5 all-day preschool programs throughout the district. So again, we're even looking at our youngest children those who are 3 and 4, those before they enter school, because we know a quality preschool experience is a predictor of future school success. Again, we are improving and expanding our athletic and after-school opportunities. Research proves that students who participate in extracurricular activities, such as athletics, after-school programs, and academic clubs, have better grades, improved discipline, better attendance, and are more likely to stay in school and graduate. To that end, we had 2 major announcements this year in this area. In September 2008, thanks to the generous support of Bob Vanderweide, CEO of the Orlando Magic, and his wife Sherry, and their foundation, along with the Doug and Maria DeVos Foundation and the Grand Rapids Student Advancement Foundation, we launched our middle school academic and athletic expansion project. Thanks to this partnership, we will be able to expand academic and athletic opportunities at the middle school level, building our athletic farm team and helping to increase the district's competitiveness in the OK Conference. Also, thanks to a partnership with the City of Grand Rapids and the ELO Network, GRPS was awarded a $25.5 million grant over 5 years for after-school programming. As a result, GRPS now has a Loop program in every single elementary, K-8, and middle school in the district. And there were a lot of concerns about our participation in the OK Conference. Everyone thought that we might not fare that well in joining the OK League. But this is something I think is really, really special. After each of the athletic seasons, coaches in each division of the OK Conference are asked to rate the teams in the areas of athletic interaction and sportsmanlike conduct within their own division. And just this week, Creston High School was awarded the highest sportsmanship rating in the OK White division. And I think we need to applaud that. This one needs to be rephrased. Our schools are safe. Our schools are safe. And when something is already good, you just make it better. And that's what's happening in this area. We have some of the best public safety officers anywhere. Period. End of story. They are outstanding. Outstanding. This employee group is one that I have seen do things that go far beyond what they are required to do. They are very ably led by Larry Johnson, who pursued aggressively over a number of years a grant so that we were able to expand our use of technology. He's initiated training and safety programs for students and staff that are being recognized across the country. People are calling him. The FBI has called him to ask him to come and train future FBI agents. But more importantly, because this speaks about our students, we are on track for the 4th consecutive year in reducing the number of major incidents in our schools. Just recently, our public safety department was recognized for their efforts and awarded the Walter Coe Public Service Award at the Giants Banquet. Now, tell me that's not something to celebrate, where an entire department is recognized for their public service. So I want to publicly applaud our security officers, thank them for a job well done, and let you all know that the reason why our schools are safe is not because we have people watching kids because they're going to do something wrong. We have people who care about kids and encourage them to do what's right. Very, very different. We are improving the health and well-being of our students. A student's emotional, physical, and social well-being plays an important role in their ability to learn and succeed academically. We believe that in order to keep children in school, reduce absences, and increase student achievement, our schools must work to address the X factors and remove barriers that may inhibit student success. One way we have done that is to create a position known as Youth Advocate Specialist. These youth advocates, this program was first piloted at Central High School, go Rams, and because of its success, we expanded the program, and now our youth advocate specialists are in every high school and middle school throughout the district. Now, what do these people do? They are the eyes, the ears, and the helping hands in the hallways and classrooms, and their job is to build relationships with and support for our students. They basically function as an ombudsman, a hands-on, job-embedded in the classroom, in the lunchroom, outside, on the weekends, at activities, ombudsman for the students. This is a young group of people, many who went to our schools, many who come from the neighborhoods where the children live, but the level of rapport that they've been able to create with students and with their parents in a short period of time more than justifies the cost. I've had countless number of people tell me how they rely upon these individuals, what a high-quality service they provide, and how glad they are that we have these positions. So to our youth advocate specialists who are under the direction of Ms. Teresa Neal, who I know will make sure they do a great job, I want to thank all of them for their hard work. And we are looking to expand that program because it's an efficient use of the monies that we receive, because the amount of service we get for the investment in the position is exponentially greater. So hats off, much thanks, congratulations to those who are in this position. Stephanie Painter is here, and I can't think of another more deserving group of recognition, and that also would be our school nurses and health aides, our partnerships with the Kent School Service Network and with Cherry Street Health Clinic. GRPS is one of the few districts in the state that provides a full range of in-house health, dental, and social services to support our children. And I think that is really significant. Again, if you go to Burton Elementary and Middle School, you will see a brand new, state-of-the-art health and dental clinic that is a full-use facility that is thoroughly integrated into the fabric of the school. So to Mr. Evans and to Marty Hernandez, again, Marty Hernandez, congratulations on your engagement. Her fiance is here today. But see, when you tell me things, I do remember. But this is what I think is significant about this whole piece here. Ms. Hernandez, we were talking the other day, and I remember visiting her school, and she and her vice principal had, it seemed like every coat, hat, boot, pair of boots, gloves, blanket that you could ever want to see, and they were both handing them out to the families that attend both the elementary and middle school at Burton. And I just said to myself, when a principal and a vice principal are there at 6, 7 o'clock at night doing that kind of thing, they are invested in their community, invested in the families. So that's why I know we have a heart for this piece about health and wellness, and I know that we'll do it well. And what we have to do, we have 6 KSSN sites. We have 3 full-service health and dental clinics. There are 21 schools with traveling school health programs. But we need to look at how to expand this network of support, particularly the Kent School Services Network. I certainly want to thank Diana Seeger for her leadership in this area. I mean, tirelessly has promoted the outstanding work that the Kent School Services Network has done. Kevin Konarska through the ISD also has made sure that these programs have done well. And we have to look at ways to expand this, because the depth and breadth of services provided does help the schools stay focused on their primary mission. So I want to publicly acknowledge and recognize all those affiliated with the Kent School Services Network and encourage all of us to look for ways to expand services of that nature, because they make a tremendous difference to our students. In June 2004, the voters in the city of Grand Rapids overwhelmingly approved a $165 million school construction bond. And as a result, the Grand Rapids Public Schools transformed 11 elementary and middle schools into 21st century state-of-the-art learning environments. Do you need to take a breath? I mean, are you okay? You okay? You need some water? You're good? Okay. Because I know you're saying, he talks a mile a minute, shut up. Okay. I always think the translator and these translators, I love them because I don't know how they do that. Each school is custom built with the latest school design and technology to help facilitate instruction and learning, increase safety and security, and enhance neighborhood use of these schools. And thanks to the work of a number of people, the advanced planning and foresight that went into that, and especially sound fiscal management, all of our bond projects came in on time and on or below budget. And as a result, we generated enough savings to support the construction of Cesar E. Chavez Elementary School and the renovation of Houseman Field. Now, 8 of these 11 projects are green built, and 5 are eligible or have already been approved for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design certification, LEED certification. Sibley Elementary was the first to get LEED certified last year, and this year Harrison Elementary and Middle School received the LEED designation. Once all the projects are complete and have received final approval by the U.S. Green Building Council, GRPS will have the largest number of green-built, LEED-certified schools in the state, and among the most in the nation. I thought you'd like that, Mr. Mayor. These green-built schools will conserve energy and water, reduce stormwater runoff, improve air quality, and have lower operating costs, helping to stretch the limited taxpayer dollars we have for building operation and maintenance. But now it's time that we focus on implementing the Phase 2 building improvements that have been worked on throughout the year and transform our high school facilities into 21st century learning environments. Now, in order to do this, I believe we must make a concerted effort to reduce the total cost of this plan. Based on the community's recommendations for the Phase 2 building improvements, $250 million was the estimated cost. Now, this figure included renovation costs to the 4 high school facilities, so that would be Creston, Ottawa, Union, and Central, new stadiums, auditoriums, pools, and again, other projects that were more directed at several elementary and middle schools. The last time we did this, the taxpayers of Grand Rapids picked up the full tab. This time, however, we need to look at how we can do it differently. This time, it needs to be a true public-private partnership that's similar to what happened with the construction of the Van Andel Arena and DeVos Place, where a combination of taxpayer dollars, along with private funds, grants, tax incentives, creative financing, and government funds were used to develop these projects and revitalize downtown Grand Rapids. As we seek to revitalize our high schools, we need to create a new education redevelopment model, one that takes from the playbook of those high-profile projects that I just mentioned, as well as that of nonprofit developers. Over the last year, we've been meeting with experts and leaders who have been involved in these projects in the past to explore what may be done, in particular with emphasis on what we should do with the Central High School campus. Now, this project alone, the reinvention of the Central High School campus, is estimated to cost $35 million. By some estimates, in an ideal scenario, with all the necessary approvals and support from governmental agencies, we might be able to use some creative financing and redevelopment tax incentives such as historic tax credits, brownfield redevelopment tax credits, and this may help us to cut costs, a potential savings that could be in the millions. So we're going to explore how the Central High campus can be transformed into a mixed-use property that would allow an alignment with what we're doing through our K-12 work with higher education and major job providers. And we think that this would not only help our students, but could also help share in the redevelopment costs. So that's why we're going to continue to talk to a variety of people, from local philanthropists, foundations, private stakeholders, about how we could raise private funds to support this education redevelopment plan. Now, we have met with state and federal lawmakers, and again, we're looking at the public funds, some of which are associated with the stimulus package, to see what we may use to again, provide our stake in this education redevelopment plan. We've already submitted a letter of intent with the hopes of receiving up to $6 million in construction dollars from the governor's 21st Century Initiative. Now, we may not be able to redevelop the entire school or campuses without some taxpayer support. We are going to need the help of taxpayers. But we are going to look under every rock and explore every possibility before asking taxpayers for a single dime. If the model works for the central campus, one where we look at how we can find dollars through the variety of governmental mechanisms that are there, along with support from private donors, so on and so forth. If it works, again, we may come up with a new model for other schools, other school districts to follow in the area of school construction. Again, we're going to look at how we can use federal stimulus funds to help along this way. One thing that the federal stimulus dollars look to is what projects are considered to be shovel-ready. Well, we have a shovel-ready project, and it's called Stocking Elementary School. It tops our list, along with other projects that are aimed at maintenance and upkeep, aimed at making sure that all of our schools are warm, safe, and dry. But our most shovel-ready project will be Stocking Elementary School. And we want to move forward with Stocking Elementary and Central High as our shovel-ready projects. Now, if the funds are there for Stocking Elementary, that would shave an additional $12 million off the Phase 2 building improvement costs. There's also the potential to cut an additional $14 million from the Phase 2 costs by eliminating the two proposed football stadiums recommended by the community. Now, the reason why we're able to make this recommendation about shaving that $14 million is, again, because of the decision to use the $5 million savings from the previous bond issue to renovate Hausman Field. So as a result, now that we're renovating Hausman to make it a state-of-the-art facility, those projects are no longer necessary. So doing the addition, if we can make all of this work and bring these pieces together, I'm hoping we can cut between $20 and $40 million, possibly even more, out of the Phase 2 building improvement costs. Now, if we can do this, then I'm willing to recommend to the board that they go to city taxpayers and ask them to take part in this high school transformation and educational redevelopment plan by approving a school construction bond. Again, but what we're going to do is have a tripwire. We're going to say that if we can cut between $20 and $40 million, then we need to confidently go to voters and ask for their support. We are increasing parental involvement, and I'm glad that we have a number of pals here today, as well as members of the District Parent Advisory Committee. Because, again, the more we have involved, knowledgeable, concerned parents, the more we're going to see a relationship between that and student achievement and success. Our parents are more informed and involved maybe than they've ever been. We have community volunteers that are engaged in all of our schools, and again, because they're there, they make a difference, and those things propel our students to stay in school, get good grades, and ultimately graduate. Since 2007, thanks to John Helmholtz, GRPS has significantly increased communications and outreach efforts to parents and the community by using new technology and grassroots initiatives to raise public awareness and engage individuals in supporting our students in schools. Now, these efforts include more timely and frequent mailings and newsletters, a citywide door-to-door campaign with 600-plus volunteers at the beginning of the year, just informing people about our schools, the services they offer, and to welcome people into our schools. Our Count Day Street Corner rallies. If there's ever a time to work a corner, I don't know if there's ever a time. Well, let me say that differently. We had Count Day Street Corner rallies that worked very, very well. Anyway, next year we're going to have like little cans and stuff and collect money. Our new and improved website, big thanks to Sam Mickens Jr. for his leadership in that area, and Tara Rietberg and Enika Zwiris who support that as well. The increased use of email and a new improved e-newsletter, thanks to Rosemary Reed's efforts. Automated robocalls, I know that those are called annoyingly helpful by one of our parents. And we have seen increases in parent participation. Creston High School, for example, thanks to a new 1-2 communications punch using postcards and robocalls, increased parent-teacher conference participation by 13%. It was reported by their principal, Ron Gorman, to be among the highest turnout in recent years. So yes, we will be annoyingly helpful, but we want to make sure that you're informed. And we are increasing community involvement. This year alone, thanks to the United Way and Tony Campbell and the Schools of Hope tutoring program, nearly 1,200 community volunteers participate in in-school tutoring to support our students. We have also seen more than $3 million in private support that has been pledged or received since 2007. And that didn't just happen overnight, and it's not just a one-time shot. Once people start getting involved with us, they tend to stick around. So there's a new level of interest, a new focus. There's a new opportunity for community alignment. There's a new alignment around GRPS, the likes certainly of which I've never seen before. You saw in the earlier video countless numbers of people, as Dr. Patricia Old said, who in the past didn't really see how they could work or why they should work with the Grand Rapids Public Schools. But now they see that not only is it important, it's possible, and when they do get involved with us, again, they tend to want to stay. But now more than ever, we have to build our capacity as a school system and channel our energies and interests around our strategic goals and the activities that will support those. Not only do staff and our administrators need to be ready and able to foster partnerships, we also need to make sure that everybody we partner with understands what we're doing, why we're doing it, what results we want to see, and how they can help in that process. So we have to make sure that we have our own focus carefully fine-tuned so that everybody internally and externally knows what our goals and strategies are around. In the next few days, we will be unveiling our new 5-year strategic direction. Now, this is a document that we have been assisted with, and I want to thank Susan Broman and the Steelcase Foundation for linking us with the Illinois Institute for Design. Our staff has been working with staffers from the Illinois Institute to Design to look at ways in which we can succinctly, clearly explain to the entire community, both internal to the district and external, what it is that we are going to focus on, why we're going to focus on it, and why, in particular, we are going to give emphasis to what we're doing at the high school level. We know that our greatest challenge is at the high school level. We know that, again, our elementary, K through 8, middle schools are making gains, but our high schools continue to struggle. All 4 comprehensive high schools have not met state and federal standards for 6 consecutive years, and all of them are in phase 4 corrective action. Furthermore, while the graduation rates at the 4 comprehensive high schools are in line with the state average of 76%, our alternative school graduation rates are unacceptably low at 33%. And because of that brings down the overall district average to about a 52% graduation rate. So we are developing a plan to reorganize and restructure alternative education. We're going to use a variety of methods in that restructuring so that students involved in alternative education are not pushed off to the side, not castigated as being unworthy or unable to be in one of our comprehensive high schools. But we're going to use alternative education as what it's designed to be, a temporary way to help a student correct whatever issues he or she is dealing with academically and affectively, get that student back on the right track, make sure that the support structures are in place in their school when they return, and then make sure that they're carefully monitored and assisted so that if they need a different type of setting, it will be just for a temporary reason. But we cannot do business as usual at the high school level. We cannot do it business as usual at the high school level. So because we have an obligation to students who are counting on us to help them earn a diploma, and let's face it, a high school diploma is essential now. It's not optional, it's essential. So our 5-year strategic direction is intended to help put into perspective all the moving parts that I have talked about today. All these things are currently in motion, and we don't get a chance to kind of stop and say, we need to catch our breath a little bit, we need to rest. These parts continue to move, the demands placed upon us continue to increase, and we have to meet those needs. But by establishing this strategic direction, we're going to be able to outline for everybody, these are our key goals: student achievement and increasing graduation. We want you to look at what your role is in helping us to achieve those things. We're going to give you the design areas where we want you to plug in. But we also want you to know this so that if you come to us bearing a gift and we graciously refuse it, it isn't because we don't want your help. It's because our strategic direction says at this time, that's not the kind of help we need. So what we want to do is use resources wisely. We want to use time wisely. We want to use expertise wisely. But we want to use those things to stay focused on helping students to succeed academically and persist to graduation. We have a lot of people, a lot of companies and donors who have wanted to help. And again, they get in, they stay in, they roll up their sleeves, they don't mind getting dirty. And at the end, if we give them a celebration at the end, they are just as happy at the end as they were at the beginning. So we have a lot of help. But our time is now. Our time is now. We are going to ask in a few weeks that we bring together all the key community leaders from business, from education, those who are in the trenches in the neighborhood, our religious leaders. We're going to bring everybody together. And we're going to ask everyone here, here's our strategic direction. Is this a workable, viable model that we can use as a way to enlist your continued support and assistance? And we can fine-tune it, we can rewrite it, we can rework it. But in the end, we know two things will remain as our paramount objectives. Those being increase student achievement and help students persist to graduate. And everything we do will be in line with those two things. So, I know you're waiting for this line. In conclusion, these are exciting times. You know, again, there's a lot that we should be afraid of. There's a lot that we should say, boy, I don't know that we can pull this off. There's a lot about resources, a lot about things that on a day in and day out basis would give one pause or have one throw up their hands and just say, I just don't think this is going to work. But my goodness, I just don't feel that way. I feel that we are going to do something great here. We're going to do something that people are going to be looking at Grand Rapids, Michigan, which I think is the best mid-sized city in America. And they're going to be looking to us to say, how did you weather your storm? How did you stay anchored? How did you not give up? Why weren't you afraid? And you know the reason why I can say that? Because we have children who, when you look them in the eye every single day, you say to yourself, I want what's best for them. I want them to be happy. I told a group of students the other day, and this little girl wrote me a note. I said, when you're happy, I'm happy. She wrote me a note. She said, you know what, Dr. Taylor? I'm happy. And I want you to know that I'm happy because you said when I'm happy, you're happy. So I want you to be happy. And guess what? I am. I'm extraordinarily happy. There's a lot to be optimistic about, a lot to be hopeful for. And you know what? As a district, as a community, we figured out how to work together. We figured out how to laugh together. We figured out how to be critical of one another, how to be sometimes disagreeing with one another. But in the end, we always come back together. We always say that the reason why we're all in this in the first place is because we get to serve children. And I firmly believe that if we continue to work together, we are going to get through these challenges that lie ahead of us. We're going to chart a new course for our district. We're going to have students that are going to be wildly successful, and we're all going to be able to sit back and say, boy, I'm glad I was a part of that. So you know what? I'm glad to be a part of this. I'm happy to be here. I am extraordinarily proud to be superintendent of the Grand Rapids Public Schools. I am thankful to the Board of Education for its continued support and for its allowing me the privilege to do this work. And for the time that I have, and I hope that it's a lot of time, I'm saying to you that with everything I have, with everything that I am, with everything I hope to be, this school district is going to be the best Grand Rapids Public Schools it will be. It can be. And with that said, let's just roll up our sleeves, get to work, do the outstanding job that so many people are doing every day, and we'll be back here this time next year with even more to celebrate. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for supporting the Grand Rapids Public Schools.